And it happened that, in those days, the Philistines assembled to fight. And Israel went out to meet the Philistines in battle, and he made camp beside the stone of assistance. But the Philistines went to Aphek. And they positioned their troops against Israel. Then, when the conflict began, Israel turned his back to the Philistines. And they were cut down in that conflict, in various places in the fields, about 4,000 men. And the people returned to the camp. And those greater by birth of Israel said, "Why has the Lord struck us today before the Philistines? Let us bring to ourselves the ark of the covenant of the Lord from Shiloh. And let it enter into our midst, so that it may save us from the hand of our enemies." Therefore, the people sent to Shiloh, and they brought from there the ark of the covenant of the Lord of hosts, sitting upon the cherubim. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were with the ark of the covenant of God. And when the ark of the covenant of the Lord had arrived in the camp, all of Israel shouted with a great clamor, and the land resounded. And the Philistines heard the voice of the clamor, and they said, "What is this voice of a great clamor in the camp of the Hebrews?" And they realized that the ark of the Lord had arrived in the camp. And the Philistines were afraid, saying, "God has entered into the camp." And they groaned, saying, "Woe to us, for there was no such great exultation yesterday, or the day before. Woe to us, who will save us from the hand of these sublime gods? These are the gods who struck Egypt with all the plagues, in the desert. Be strengthened, and be manly, O Philistines. Otherwise, you may serve the Hebrews, as they also have served you. Be strengthened and wage war." Therefore, the Philistines fought, and Israel was cut down, and each one fled to his own tent. And an exceedingly great slaughter occurred. And 30,000 foot soldiers from Israel fell. And the ark of God was captured. Also, the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, died. Now a man of Benjamin, rushing from the troops, arrived at Shiloh on the same day, with his clothing torn, and with his head sprinkled with dust. And when he had arrived, Eli was sitting on a seat opposite the way, gazing out. For his heart was fearful on behalf of the ark of God. Then, after this man entered the city, he announced it to the city. And the entire city wailed. And Eli heard the sound of the outcry, and he said, "What is this sound, this tumult?" And the man hurried, and he went and announced it to Eli. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes had dimmed, so that he was not able to see. And he said to Eli, "I am the one who came from the battle. And it is I who fled from the troops today." And he said to him, "What has happened, my son?" And responding, the man reported and said, "Israel has fled before the Philistines. And a great ruin has happened to the people. Moreover, your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, also have died. And the ark of God has been captured." And when he had named the ark of God, he fell from the seat backwards, toward the door, and, having broken his neck, he died. For he was an old man of great age. And he judged Israel for 40 years. Now his daughter-in-law, the wife of Phinehas, was pregnant, and her delivery was near. And upon hearing the news that the ark of God had been captured, and that her father-in-law and her husband had died, she bent down and went into labor. For her pains rushed upon her suddenly. Then, when she was near death, those who were standing around her said to her, "You should not be afraid, for you have given birth to a son." But she did not respond to them, and she did not notice them. And she called the boy Ichabod, saying, "The glory of Israel has been taken away, because the ark of God was captured, and because of her father-in-law and her husband." And she said, "The glory has been taken away from Israel, because the ark of God had been captured."